Hello everybody, Bruce here with a video that's gonna demonstrate how strings get compared or can be compared using if statements, okay? When I try to say decision structures, sometimes I have a hard time. So here we go. I have a Python program. I have two statements, two variables, string 1 and string 2. String 1 is set to a capital A, string 2 is set to a lowercase a. And if we say if string 1 is greater than string 2, then say string 1 is larger, is larger than string 2, right? Or greater than, whatever you want to say, right? Else, right? We'll just say print string 2 is larger than string 1, right? So what do you think's going to come out here? Is capital A greater than lowercase a, right? So a lot of you asked me questions about this, so check it out. String 2 is larger than string 1. What? Lowercase a is greater than capital A? Whoa, 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 what's going on? So let's just try one more example. Let's just make this, I don't know, lowercase z and uppercase z, okay? Again, here we go. String 1, so lowercase z is larger than uppercase z. So how is that happening? So let me show you. There's something called ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. And in ASCII, there's this table, right? And if we look right here, let me see, right in column, right here. You can see here that this value, 65, is for the capital letter A, and lowercase a, right, is a value of 97. So look at that. 65 is less than 97. So the capital A is less than the lowercase a, right? And then we did, I don't know, Z. Let's just do Z. Here's capital Z is 90, and lowercase z is 122, right? So let's go back here. So string 1 greater than string 2. Here we go. Run. So it says here string 1 is larger than string 2. And that's true, right? Because we said like lowercase z had a value of, right here, 122, right? And capital Z had 90, right? So 122, right? And 90. So obviously 122 is greater than 90. So you see how that's working? All right. So yeah, that's how that's working. It's using these ASCII values, right, to make this determination of which, if the condition is true or not. So just to show you this, there is a built-in function inside of Python called ORD, right? And I can say, hey, string 1, what's your ORD? Okay, your ordinal value, and then print ORD of string 2, right? So let's see what we get here. We should get, in this case, 122, right? So let's do it. So we get 122, right? So let's switch these around so you can see how this works. Z and lowercase, Z, right? And run Python file and terminal. And you can see here that, what did I do? Capital Z, right? The capitals are greater, right? So now, actually, string 2 is larger than string 1, so it's printing out the 122 value, right? So string 1, right, the capital is not greater than the lowercase, right? Because, yeah, I'm just talking here. I just want to make sure I did this right. Hold on a second. So capital Z, right, and we saw on the chart that the capital letters, right, have a greater value, right? So this is 90, and lowercase z, right, is 122. So is capital Z was 90, right? And 122, right? So it said here, string 2, right, which is the lowercase z, is greater, right? So that's right. I got confused for a minute. It happens to the pros too, right? So this is great, right? This is showing you how this stuff works internally. Now, it gets a little trickier when you have strings, right, that are multiple letters. So what really happens, in fact, I have another example here. Let me see if I can find it. Clark, CTEC 121. Let's see, I think I have programs, Python programs. There it is, comparing strings. So let me open this folder. And here is a file, all right? So this is just a little larger here. Let me shrink it down here. So here I have, kind of like I did before, I have string 1 and string 2, where I have armadillo and zebra. And the code here, and I'll share the code as well, goes and shows you, I don't know why it says Bruce is greater than Gail. I mean, I used to have, actually, let me change this back. Bruce and Gail. I never finished this, okay? So what this code was doing is comparing the overall string 1, Bruce, is Bruce greater than Gail, right? And internally, Python can figure that out, but what's really going on? So what I'm doing here, it's a little advanced. There's some of these things you have not learned yet, but I established 2 accumulators, and I set them to 0 because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be accumulating the ASCII values of each letter in each of the strings and adding them together. So what's going on right here, this is something that we'll cover in Module 5, where I'm iterating through, instead of doing like range or list, you're able to also iterate through characters in a string, 1 character at a time. So what I'm doing is I'm accumulating the sum of those ORD values of each letter in the string, which is creating a numeric value. And then at the very end, right, I'm printing out those accumulated values. And you'll see here, let's do this, okay? Actually, let me just make this, we'll just run it the way it is, okay? So it says here that, right, what it's doing, let me make the terminal window bigger here, okay? So what it's doing is saying string is Bruce, and it's showing each value of each character, B, R, U, C, E. It's adding all those numbers up using the accumulator pattern. Yes, I'm a broken record. And then it's doing the same for string 2, which has the value of Gail, and then it's figuring out each of those values, right? So Bruce has a total of 497. Gail has a total of 498. So the string Gail, right, is larger than the string Bruce, all right? So go back and watch this video again, and I will share the code somewhere. But that's how this stuff happens, okay? That's how this stuff happens, all right? Actually, let me do this so you can actually, it's always good too to type this stuff in. I know it's a pain, but if you see the code right here, like here, and you push pause, go ahead, try and type it in, all right? Code word for this video is, I don't know, let's, Sharpie, because I just picked up a Sharpie off my desk, S-H-A-R-P-I-E, all right? Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks to those of you who requested a demonstration of string comparisons in Python. Have a good day. Take care.